As the name suggests, single window. It's a single access to a multiplicity of agencies who are involved in the international trade supply chain. So whether it is customs or the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Health, Planned Quarantine, etc., any agency whereby the trading public would be required to engage for any trade transaction would be coming together on a single platform, a single automated platform to do those trade transactions. So that's basically what the concept means. A single platform where all those agencies who are involved in international trade would come together, utilizing that platform to transact with the trading public to ensure that trade is facilitated. UNCTAD developed the SVG system. It's about 40 years, 4 decades ago. We've been involved with solutions for customs departments worldwide, over 100 countries. So we are the developers of SVG, and we are headquartered in Switzerland, but as I said, we operate internationally. And over the past few years, we have developed what is called the single window for trade, for electronic trade. So we have gone beyond just customs, but also automate, develop a solution for all agencies who are involved in the international trade in any jurisdiction. So basically, our responsibility would be as the implementing agency with experts, whether it is IT experts or functional or customs expert like myself, persons who are the experience, the skills, and trained in various aspects of the automated environment or in international trade. And our responsibility is to go to each jurisdiction that have signed on to the project and to assist the national authorities to implement the system. So we come with experience, and of course there will be a very robust, very comprehensive knowledge transfer from UNCTAD experts to the local authorities.
The electronic single window for trade facilitation will be a game changer for the trading community. It will bring tremendous benefits for the customs, the trading community, the government, and the economy. Presently, what exists is basically traders have to submit a lot of paperwork, a lot of information, a lot of other documentation to the different, border agencies in the whole import and export process. What the single window will do is create this single point of entry for all the players in import, export, and transit. That in itself will make trade easier. It will make it quicker, less costly. There will be more transparency and, of course, more predictability in trade. So there's really a lot to begin from transiting from a heavy laden paper environment to a paperless environment. The downsides, there aren't really downsides per se. Of course, there are challenges that we may encounter, but those challenges would not be around forever. We will eventually overcome. And if I could really think aloud, you may have 1 or 2 challenges, like the cost. The cost of doing this project for the government is huge. So that's a challenge that we may encounter harmonization of information from all the other government agencies and private sector agencies involved in trade. And of course, you know, how well the telecommunication companies could sustain this paperless environment. How much bandwidth is given to this project will, you know, affect how efficient the single window will run. So there are challenges, but once these challenges are managed, I really don't see any downsides to moving from a heavy paper-laden environment to one of a digital environment. Yes, it should make things much easier for them to clear the barrels. The agents who these barrels are consigned to will have to be submitting all the documentation online. And again, if you are using the digital space to transact business, it doesn't matter whether you're clearing a barrel, a box, container. It's basically the same procedure. And again, the entire trading community is expected to benefit from reduced cost of doing business and a speedier process through customs.
Particularly with respect to trade reduction in trade transaction costs. In reality, if you look at it, every minute that imported goods or transited goods remain in a transit shed, there is a cost. The storage, the mortgage. So the whole idea is to get the goods to the consumer, the final consumer, in the most timely manner, right? Time is money. And also the most cost-effective method. So definitely there will be a great impact in terms of transaction costs. Hopefully those will be passed on to the consumer. The second most important thing in that regard, in relation to your question, is the issue of business facilitation. Before foreign investors come into any country, they look at your infrastructure, they look at the ease of doing business, how quickly that the services and the goods can enter and exit your country. And of course, having a single window, you will see a lot of other countries, experiences for other countries. Having a single window means that you are quicker in terms and much more efficient in terms of facilitating trade and business. So investors do pay attention to those things. How modernized, how reformed your economy is before they make an informed decision to come and do business with you. So I observe, for example, that St. Vincent is already moving forward with a new port, and I saw a vision for a new city in Arnoldville. So this is very timely, right? Because persons would want to start eyeing St. Vincent and the Grenadines in terms of coming to business. So it makes you competitive. Yes.
We commenced using the debit cards in the second quarter, if I could recall, of 2023. And of course, that being a new thing, and it's a cultural thing of getting Vincentians on a whole to use the debit cards. To use any card, as a matter of fact. We have this issue where we will go to the bank, we take out $300 to go to the supermarket and spend it at the supermarket, but you could just use your card at the supermarket. So, right? In the supermarket and go back to the cashier. So what we have seen though, we just, when we look at the data, we have seen that we would have collected about $1.5 million via debit cards transactions. You know, given our mandate, I mean, we had to collect over $320 million. So when you compare what we have collected via the debit card, you know, you see that we have a problem. So we have to change our culture in using the debit card. What we have seen the debit cards being used mostly with persons who are importing motor vehicles. They tend to use that a lot. The persons who are clearing courier packages at the airport and so forth, they tend to use the debit card. I will wish that more people use the debit card and help us to reduce this heavy reliance on the actual cash. That slows down our process of accounting for that cash every day. With the debit card, it's just a touch of a button. There is a balance at the end of the spreadsheet. And there you go. It is important though that they start using the card as often, because under the digital transformation project, we will see the upgrade of the customs automated system for customs data, the ASICUDA system, being upgraded. And when that is upgraded, another payment option will be added. And that is where you can pay now via credit card. So we call that e-payment. So we will now accept e-payment. So customers now will have the opportunity to pay with checks, cash, debit card, and credit card. It is important that people utilize the system when it is being provided, because one of the problems that customers will complain of is the cutoff time for cash taken, right? But picture you can pay with a credit card. You don't have the stress of rushing to the customs department to meet the deadline for payment before cash close, right? You don't have to stand up in the long lines to pay cash when you can use your credit card, right? But it's all part of the digital transformation to really go to a paperless environment to enhance our trade competitiveness.
If I can add as well, you know, with electronic payment that the controller alluded to, that it allows for direct transfer from your bank account to the system, the treasury, right? In other words, you don't even have to use a card. You can simply log into your bank account, just like you may pay your online bill, and transfer the monies that required for duties, payment of duties, directly through that e-payment system. Well, the upgrade is with respect to modules. The customs will be getting additional modules. Some of them are enhanced in terms of the functionality. But in terms of the downtime, that may be for a whole host of reasons and not really system related. It could be a network problem because, of course, the system, you need internet connectivity. And if the bandwidth is a poor quality or it goes down, then there is no connectivity. So sometimes, you know, that happens and then the people blame the system when it's not the system, it is actually the connectivity. But yes, with the upgrade, you would get, a much more robust system in addition to some enhanced modules. As we already spoke about, the e-payment, for example, will be an additional module that will be available. Yeah.
So far, what we have done for the submission of declarations, just a few years ago, we used to accept about 3 copies of declaration, customs declaration from the trade. We have reduced that to 1. With the upgrade of ASIC Coder and the introduction of the single window, that will be eliminated. We are also hoping to bring on board a lot of the manual processes in an automated way. The idea is not to partially automate, but to fully automate. It's a huge cost to government for buying paper, ink, right? It's a huge cost to the public to be printing these forms, submitting them. So what you want to create is a win-win situation for the government, the trading community, and the country as a whole. One of the biggest benefits you can get from being paperless, operating within a paperless environment, is the predictability of the trade. And that in itself, as Terence indicated before, enhance your country's attractiveness for doing business. Foreign investors likes when you could go online and you can see what it requires to import an excavator, how long it will take them to import a 40-foot container, how long it will take them to re-export that excavator. So the predictability and transparency within the virtual space creates economic benefits, creates employment, right? Businesses now become more efficient. Customs, health, trade, everybody become more efficient. And so business could do more with the monies they save printing all these papers, the time it takes to submit all these documentation to obtain a license, a permit to import, to go to the NTRC to get an import license for a drone, to go to the Ministry of Trade for a license, to import a mattress. What the single window is hoping to do is to create a one-stop shop, one portal that all the players who are involved in import-export could submit their document electronically without have to go to several of the agencies.
The most critical thing is that it brings change, right? A movement away from the traditional way of doing things. And sometimes people resist change for whatever reason, maybe fear of the unknown, and a host of other reasons. But the most important thing is that there will be a change of how they engage those agencies, as we've been saying, right? And of course, expectation standards, right, that they should expect from those agencies once the agencies are hooked up on this single platform. The users should expect a much more speedier process. You heard the controller speak about, a business re-engineering that is looking at the current manual or semi-automated processes and ensuring that they're fully paperless, they're fully automated. That should bring much faster clearance, right? So persons should expect that as well. They should also expect, especially the users, the public sector users, the private sector users of the system, they should ensure documentation, full documentation of all the steps. So yes, we are going to train, build capacity, but at the same time, we will be leaving behind some documentation to ensure that persons, the users, understand all the steps involved in the transaction, step 1, step 2, step 3, with screenshots and everything else, so that it will be more easily used. Yeah. Well, we're looking at like plant quarantine, for example, that deals with phytosanitary certificates, the Ministry of Culture, where it comes to animal health and so forth, Ministry of Health, perhaps with respect to the importation of pharmaceuticals, right? And I think the controller spoke about some others as well, NTRC, and some other agencies. Any agency who are involved, the Ministry of Trade for trade licenses and so forth. Well, the meetings have been going very well. I see a relatively good buy-in from the stakeholders, both from the private and public sector persons that we've met so far. And there is an excitement of the potential of this. We ourselves are very excited. I'm excited to partner with Mr. De Silva and his team as a former customs officer myself. That, I really applaud the department and also the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for taking this step. It is a very important step. In the region, we only have a few countries that have single windows. And in fact, this will be the very first single window in the OECS, right? If we get able to get it off the ground within a couple of years. And so this is very important for the country. So the meetings that we've had so far, I see an anticipation, a very heightened excitement of the potential of the system. In terms of any observed challenges, I would imagine that the Customs Department would be one of the more automated departments because of Asecuda. So what we expect is that when it comes to infrastructure, equipment and whatnot, there might be a bit more work to be done with the other government departments. Yes, Customs still have some work to do in terms of automation and whatnot, but they are far more advanced in that area of technology, right? Because of the Asecuda project than, say, other government agencies that will have to do some more work with. But I see a willingness from those agencies to get on board, and so that we'll have a border regulatory agency environment which is fully automated, as we've been saying. So there's great excitement, and yeah.
It will be implemented in phases, right? So we begin, for the past 2 weeks, we would have done an ICT gap analysis to determine our stock of equipments. Mr. Terrence has been conducting a needs assessment right now to determine our readiness to identify weaknesses and threats and so forth. And the whole idea is to come up with his main role is to come up with a comprehensive work plan to take us to guide us through the implementation of the electronic single window for trade facilitation. So we begin with the upgrade of Asecuda, which we will see within this first year, and some of the trade facilitation measures we talked about in terms of the different options, payment options, e-payment, and so forth, trying to automate a number of the manual procedures that we have. And that now will lay the foundation for the single window. And of course, because it is a multi-agency project, it will take, from what I've been told, around May next year. But because it is phased in, the traders will start to benefit from it, as we come closer to the end of the year. into and finalize into the second quarter of 2025. Yeah, because you want to create a trading community that is robust and competitive. You want to transform the way we do business in order to attract foreign investors. You want businesses themselves to save time and money in the import and exportation. You want more productivity, efficiency from the border agencies, right? And single window is gonna present us with those benefits that will improve doing business within the country and the world.